What's up, everybody? It's Ray from Fellow Truthers, the only juggalo with the Truthers Show. I'm here with Brandon, the only man in Alabama that's not married to his cousin. He laughs because it's true.
Close to true. I know,
okay, sisters, fine. My bad. I was trying to be nice, let y'all have a little bit of one up on Arkansas, but I guess let's keep it real.
No, the sisters is when you get on up into the swamps of Louisiana. Speaking of
I'm pretty sure those are your mom, grandmas / sister cousins.
My sis mom.
Yeah, my sister, mom, auntie, grandma, nephew, niece, woman thing. Yeah, fucked up.
My transgender grandmom.
For real. That's going to be a thing soon.
Probably.
We're going to have a whole generation of kids talking about, well, my grandma used to be my grandpa. My grandpa got pregnant because my grandma was actually my grandpa, and my grandpa was actually my grandma.
Congratulations, you just did
Caitlyn Jenner.
Something other. You did a thing. That's about all I can say.
So, I guess we're mainly gonna.
First off, we're gonna talk about the shootings. That's the most.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't actually been able to dig too much into that because everything I see is just the same shit, and then it changes the next day. So I'm confused.
Yeah, I love how they changed the picture because at first, I wonder if they just didn't realize that they was using the same guy for all three shootings, and then all of a sudden they change his picture, but they keep his name the same. Because they changed the Ohio shooting, they changed the Walmart shooter, they left the Garlic Festival shooter alone, which I'm not exactly sure why there's even a garlic festival. That's kind of weird.
Vampires, dude, vampires. I mean, just thinking strategically, that's the best place to go if you want to avoid being attacked by vampires.
Yeah.
I mean, if I wanted to avoid being attacked by a vampire, I would go chill at a garlic festival. That one still had stuff in it. No, it had toy in it, so that was one of the unopened.
Yeah, the Garlic Festival shooter is the only one that's remained unchanged throughout all this. And God only knows what they're going to push tomorrow.
I know, right? I wish we had been able to. I'm sorry, got a bunch of stuff going on, but being able to record the stuff we talked about a couple of days and weeks ago, because I called out that this was all about gun control when we started talking about the first one that happened.
Yeah, as soon as somebody mentioned gun control, or as soon as somebody started a mass shooting, Trump jumps on the gun control wagon.
Yeah, and it's weird that Trump's the one that's doing this shit, because his whole campaign was about him being all about Second Amendment rights, blah blah blah, and it just seems funny how this shit's popping up out of nowhere.
Yep. Because now he's pushing these red flag laws, and
what exactly is that?
It's where anybody that knows you, anybody that has any kind of affiliation with you, can go to local police department or sheriff's department or, pretty much any kind of government agency and tell them that they think they can pretty much say anything negative about you, and that gives them all legality to come in your house and confiscate any firearms you have with no trial, no court, no trial, no nothing. Like, they don't even have to have a warrant. They just come up in your house, take your guns, and go away.
Well, I guess I'm glad that I only carry machetes then.
Yeah. Lucky you.
I mean, in all reality, if that's all it takes, there's probably so many people that are willing to talk shit about me. Like, I mean, they won't take my BB guns, will they? I like those. They can't have those.
No, they'll take any firearm.
Well, they're going to have to get through a blade first. I don't know if they probably won't come prepared for that. Body armor may stop bullets, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't stop machetes.
Depends on how sharp it is, I'm sure. Because bullets are not usually very sharp.
If you find a sharp bullet, then that's somebody that really had a fucking problem with you, and they sat there for a minute fucking with that thing. So, like, they put some time and effort into making sure that shit was gonna hurt. They probably didn't even want you dead. They're gonna shoot you somewhere like in your kneecap or your dick or something. But, like, you're gonna feel that. If somebody takes the time to sharpen a bullet, they got it in for your ass.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I'm just saying, naturally, bullets aren't exactly meant to be sharp. They're meant to kind of cut into you and then disintegrate into multiple pieces while also putting another piece of it through you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless you're talking about like the icicle guns and shit the CIA had back in the day where they were shooting niggas with little pieces of ice and like.
No, those things were pretty cool.
They fucking shit out poison and then shit in them melts and it leaves like a needle-sized hole that no one can trace.
Yeah. Those were pretty cool, though.
I mean, shit. It's crazy that they have stuff like that. And, like, we always thought that was just some James Bond ass shit or something. Turns out
that was real.
Yeah. And, I mean, that's another thing. Like, if he passes these red flag laws and all the shit that's going on right now, what's the next step? How much bigger is the government intrusion into our daily lives going to get?
Oh, God, there's no telling. I mean, they're digging hard.
I notice how it's always some weird sort of fucking kid that looks like some sort of frog on meth. And just... It's always really ugly people. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's just an ugly people problem. Like, on some real shit. Because you never see anybody that's like a poster child of handsome. I mean, the last time I saw that shit was like Richard Ramirez back in the day, you know? Like, nowadays, it's just a bunch of ugly little bastards.
I'm pretty ugly, and I've never had any kind of thoughts of shooting up a school or a mall or a Walmart. And I mean,
Our knots are unlimited.
Like, I'm a solid 2 on a good day. I've never legitimately wanted to murder anybody for no reason, especially in mass.
Well, and that's another thing, though. They call these mass shootings and shit, but to be honest, I don't think they're all that massive. Like, we've seen bigger kill counts. These are just people rolling in with multiple guns with the intention to kill, everybody.
It's like the Las Vegas shooting.
Oh yeah, and like that's another thing. Like I've been hearing some videos come out where they're talking about like there were multiple shooters, You know?
What, at the Walmart shooting?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like I was telling you, I think it was yesterday that we talked about it. Like I was telling you, this one dude, I was watching a video. This one dude was saying that he saw 4 people with guns, all of them dressed in solid black, walk into the Walmart and start opening fire. And that video was actually taken down while I was watching it. Like, I got far enough into it to hear the description of their clothes. Said they was all wearing like black jeans and black hoodies and black mask around their face. And that's about as far as I made it before the video froze. And then a gray screen popped up and said this video is no longer available.
Well, like, pretty much I've noticed that, like, anybody that's tried to post about those shootings, too, like, if they say anything contrary to what, like, ABC and shit are saying or CNN, they're pulling that shit right off of Facebook within, like, 2 minutes of them posting it.
Yeah, that actually happened to me.
I mean, I haven't even tried to post anything, because, you know, I don't stay away from Facebook and shit, but I went on there the other day trying to look up, like, what I could to see, like, you know, how close to relevant these 3 guys were, and they all said, like, from what I saw, it's basically the same motherfucker. They just did a little bit of photoshopping on each picture to make them look slightly different.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, that or, like, yeah, the severe tooth infection one day that swallowed half his face, and then the next day that shit was gone.
It's possible. Not very
likely. No, it's not. I've had a tooth infection before. That shit takes a couple of days, even if you're on antibiotics, unless he, like, stabbed himself up in his face that night. But then again, obviously, he's a fucking psychopath, so maybe he did shink himself up in his gums and, like, you know, go up. Maybe that's why he shot up the place. Maybe it wasn't even about, like, anything. He just went out there, he was pissed off because his jaw hurt, and he was like, fuck it. I mean, we don't know what the fuck's really going on with these people.
The thing about it is apparently he posted this really long manifesto about how he was tired of.
Why do they always manage to do that too? That's another thing. Like the past, like what 4 or 5 mass shooters, like they take the time to document exactly what they're gonna do, step for step, and all the things that led up to it. Like, and they leave this just mad, you know, in the open where somebody's gonna obviously find it after they do it. Like, yeah, like, that's not something that, like, you don't really see that shit too often. Like, the Oklahoma City bombers didn't do that shit. They didn't fucking take time to write down why the fuck they were doing it and what's going on.
The shooters didn't do it. You know, they didn't say, hey, we're tired of black
people. Well, the Columbine shooters made a video about it beforehand. They, like, had, they had, like, 3 or 4 home videos they made that, like, where they were talking about wanting to do it and shit like that. That's how they managed to, like, fully link it, like, the grandfather and the abuse and shit, because they made some videos about it and like they found those, but that was like shit 2 years after Columbine happened. But like, you know, again, those are flukes. Like that's not something you see from like every last one of the motherfuckers. But it seems like these past few, every one of them has a manifesto. Every one of them documented their steps. Like
who the fuck does that? Public forums like Twitter and Facebook. Like.
I mean, shit, even the military doesn't document their steps that well, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, almost every step you take in the military is positioned. It's recorded. They know where the fuck you're going. They know what you're doing.
Exactly.
All right, I'll get y'all up later.
Oh.
But, it's like, you know, like I said, this whole thing to me seems like it's definitely got false flag written all over it. Like.
Oh, yeah, it does. Because, I mean, you know, like I was saying, Let's backtrack a little bit. Look at the signs. First off, soon as the shooting was over, Donald Trump was talking about the red flag laws. You know, almost immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I called that like a day before he came out saying that shit. Like I had already called. That's exactly what the fuck was going to happen. Like.
Yeah. And then. After that, let's see. Oh yeah, the picture came out, and the Ohio shooting happened, and then that picture came out, and the Garlic Festival shooter, the Texas Walmart shooter, and the Dayton, Ohio shooter was all three the same person. And then the next day, they changed two of the three. You know, they changed the picture. And like I posted in our group chat earlier, the other guy that's supposed to be on this show, he's not on here tonight because he has a relative in the hospital. But he had done some digging and found the guy that they said did it. I can't remember the dude's name, but he died in 2003. The dude they're trying to pin it on died 2003. Hold on, I'll open it up and see if I can find it again.
Well, not only that, but like, isn't it like he says supposedly it's all about like because he doesn't like Mexicans or something, but he's not like Mexican himself?
Yeah, that's what he said. That was the whole point of the that was the whole point of the manifesto that he put out.
Or so they say he put it out.
Yeah. The funny thing is if he put that out, he had to have done it while he was in prison because it was posted at like 10 o'clock that night after the shooting. Oh, and another thing. There's a video of him walking into the Walmart with his rifle shouldered. If you notice, there's a stop sign and there's blue post. But a picture, like on Google Maps, you can look up the Walmart that it happened at. There's no stop sign in the parking lot. There's no blue post in front of the door. The walkway is shaped different. The cars are different from the well, I can't really say nothing about the cars because I don't know when the photo on Google Maps was taken.
Yeah.
But there's no stop sign in the parking lot behind the shooter, and there's no blue post in the walkway behind the shooter. Outside of the Walmart that it supposedly happened at anyway. And another thing. Yeah, this is the dude they're saying did it. Connor D. Betts. February 12th, 1992 to February 19th, 2014. And this is the dude they're saying that did... I think... Yeah, this is the Dayton, Ohio shooting that they're saying he did this. The dude they're saying did it died at 22 years old in 2014. And he lived in Connecticut.
Well, I mean, maybe you're looking at an angry ghost. They got lost and confused while he was on his way to Ohana Place. He showed up, you know, a little bit gung-ho, a little bit crazy. There's ghosts and shit. We don't know how ghost brains work. And, you know.
Ghost brains?
Kablow, you know what I mean?
But yeah, I mean, we're definitely going to have to dig more into it. And
well, the thing is, they buried everything now that, like, anybody that's trying to dig is probably getting flagged. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, unless you have Tor Network, I feel like they've set it up to where you sure as fuck ain't gonna, you know, you ain't gonna just find anything now. Like, even trying to find videos on this subject, on the killers, on anything, there's nothing out there.
Unless it's
nothing
put
worth
out
the
by
fuck
one
at
of
least.
the major mainstream news outlets.
But, you know, they're full of fucking shit.
Oh, yeah. You can't trust any of them because they're going to push the narrative of the government. You know, just like that major news station reporting that Tower Number 7 fell on 9/11 like 5 minutes before it actually started even collapsing. You know, the one that collapsed in an office fire.
Oh, yeah. They reported it like 3-4 hours earlier than it actually happened.
Well, it wasn't hours. It was only like 5 to 10 minutes earlier. But the fact is the tower itself, the one that they had reported that fell, was still standing in the background of their studio, like in the windows, looking outside of the studio they were in.
Yeah, I mean and this wouldn't be the first time it's happened either.
Oh God, no.
I mean, I think there was something way back in the day, if I remember correctly. 'Cause I remember talking to an old schooler about it. It was either, I think it was Vietnam or Korea, but they had talked about like an attack on a ship or something that happened, and they actually like the news report itself aired a day and a half too early, and they, so that's when our government actually went and blew up the ship because the news had jumped the ball on it.
Yeah.
And that's what, got us thrown into one of those wars. I can't remember which one it was, but like,
It was Vietnam.
according to him, that's how it was set off, apparently there was somebody that was supposed to, the ship was supposed to be blown up at a certain point, and they blew it up, or the news reported it way too early, and that cost them,
Yeah.
And that doesn't surprise me, you would like to think that shit like that's just some crazy conspiracy guy talking a bunch of bullshit or something, but then you look into it, you actually start thinking about it, and, it's far from bullshit. Like, this ain't the first time this kind of stuff has happened to us.
No.
We gotta think, we're talking about the same government that, what, was it the 60s and 70s where they were giving fucking African-American men syphilis just to see what it would do?
Yeah. Yeah, they were. They were injecting them with syphilis virus just to test and see what it would do, but they weren't telling them what it was.
Yeah, what was that called? The Tuskegee experiments or whatever?
Honestly,
something like that.
Honestly, I do not remember what it was called. I'll have to look into that again.
We've also done it to other countries. We've sent fucking botched medications and vaccines over there and introduced viruses to other countries just to see what would happen.
Oh, yeah.
And people, try to ignore that shit and pretend like it doesn't happen, but it totally happens,
Yeah, it happens. It actually happens a hell of a lot more than what we realize.
Yeah, and shit. And a lot. I've heard, there's some people out there talking about this guy. But what I was basically getting at is that, when it comes down to these situations like this one, it's not the first time, it's not the last time. The government does false flags all the time, and the fact that people say that, no, it's not yours, Bruce, go away. Sorry, got a 2-year-old that's pissy. He wants everything he can have right now. But, reality is just, it is what it is. Our government's going to false flag, and the fact that we seem to think that the only time false flags are going to happen is like, in other countries, they're not going to do it to their own citizens. We always try to pretend like that shit doesn't happen to us and that it won't happen to us. And the reality is they've already done it to the American people. We're talking about the same government that back during World War II took Japanese American citizens that were registered citizens. They belonged here. They were born and raised here, and they still locked them up. They threw them away with that and basically fucking put them in our own versions of Nazi internment camps, all because they were afraid that somehow those people would be sympathetic to a country that they really had no ties to, other than the fact that, their grandparents may have come from over there,
Yeah.
So, we are talking about a government that does not give a fuck about the people.
Of course. In all reality, the government hasn't given a shit about the citizens since around the time the Federal Reserve was established.
And then people are sitting there just trying to believe that, this shit's not going to happen, that, it's not, what we think it is. You know what I mean? And that things are just gonna get better and shit like that. And they don't have the understanding that like the only way it's ever gonna get better is if we force it to get better ourselves. Like we're gonna have to get up and do something about it. You know?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't see that happening. There's too many brainwashed people still nursing on the government. You know, and
Well,
the ones that aren't nursing on the government are afraid to even try anything because they don't want to go to prison, they don't want to go to jail, whatever.
yeah, but that's kind of a cop out to me.
It is. And I mean, I understand you don't want to go to jail.
I mean, the prison systems only exist to keep the people caught up and to keep us like complacent. If we weren't all afraid to speak our mind and get locked up for speaking our mind, then I mean, they know for a fact they would already have a revolution on their hands. Like, it would already be over. There wouldn't be any questioning on what's going on. It'd straight be over and done with already.
And that's why we've got so many states legalizing marijuana, is to keep people pacified and keep them asleep so they don't see what's actually going on.
And that's something I said the other day, and I'm all about marijuana. I'm pro weed. I smoke myself, but like, I also understand that the government is legalizing it for a reason because they've had it illegal for how long? For how many decades now? And just all of a sudden, when all this shit's popping off, when the government's at the most unstable point with the American people it's been, all of a sudden, these people are sitting there and they're legalizing weed. But while they're legalizing weed, they're passing laws that before would never have been passed.
Exactly. And not only that, but the Monsanto, however you want to say it, you know the company I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
They are trying to get the government to let them have a monopoly on marijuana.
Oh, yeah. Well, of course they would. Having a monopoly on everything else from seeds to, everything else.
Well, Monsanto just bought out Bayer Pharmaceuticals.
I thought they already owned Bayer Pharmaceuticals.
No, they just bought them out like last year.
I thought they've been partnered up with them for a long time.
But now Monsanto is the one that is making aspirin now.
Doesn't Monsanto also have like legal patents on like 3 different fucking like pathogenic viruses?
More than that.
I'm like, I know there's 3 major ones that if they decided to if they wanted to put those out into the public and the populace, we would be talking about almost an instantaneous destruction of human life.
Well, I know for a fact one of those diseases that they have the patent on is literally like the T virus in the Resident Evil video games. If it was to get released, either purposely or accidental, it would literally be a real life Resident Evil.
Like mutating Resident Evil, like dogs and birds and shit too, or just like mindless zombies walking around trying to eat people like they're all on bath salts?
I'm not really sure, because for what I've heard, yes, it would mutate animals, because they have done animal testing with it, and the animals immediately had to be killed because it turned the animals cannibalistic.
Well, that seems pretty gangster.
And they also have one. You remember Alex Jones' rant on the gay frogs?
Can't stop him.
Yeah.
Stop it.
The whole rant on the gay frogs. Alex Jones
You need to
nailed that
stop.
shit, actually. There's
Drink
a
it.
chemical patented by Monsanto that is not only turning the frogs gay, it's completely reassigning genders. Like, it makes male frogs lay eggs.
That's that shit Alex Jones was talking about, right?
Yes. It's called atrazine. And, I mean...
I'm gonna take it that's not a good thing.
No.
You can't have gay frogs.
Well, like I said, it's not only turning them gay, but...
Give this to Mama.
But it's, like, completely reassigning the frogs' genders.
Turn them into hermaphroditic frogs?
Not hermaphroditic, but, like, it's turning male frogs females. Like, it's making it to where male frogs can lay eggs.
That's strange.
A little bit.
I mean, I'd kind of like to lay eggs.
Owl. Super owl.
Fucking breakfast forever. Butt eggs.
Sometimes you worry me.
I worry a lot of people, sir. But I mean, I don't know. Going back to these shootings and shit, like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, what we're being told, how this whole situation went down. Like, none of it in my eyes, like, really makes.
It's like they're not even trying to hide the fact that they're using these shootings to push for gun control. You know, they're not even trying to hide the fact that they're staging these events.
Yeah, I mean, because I was going to say, it's getting to the point where it's awfully convenient, you know, that...
Well, not only did they immediately start talking about gun control, but, you know, all this bullshit with Jeffrey Epstein, and he started singing about the Clintons. You know, he started talking to the investigators and everything about Bill Clinton
Stop, Bruce.
Going to that island.
Go to the room. Go watch TV. You're in a bad mood. Sorry about that. He's not getting his way, so he's mad at the world right now.
I can relate to that.
But yeah, and then like I said too, it's and also the age of these kids that are doing this shit. I mean,
yeah, very early 20s, like 21 to like between 19 and 22, pretty much.
Yeah, just real young. I mean, that's ridiculous in my opinion.
It is.
Lay down. I mean, and like, this stuff isn't very common. You know what I mean?
No, it's not.
I mean, it's not like this shit used to happen like 3 or 4 times a week all the time. And like, you know, I mean, yeah, there's shootings every day, but you don't hear about that becoming a countrywide issue or nothing. It's like...
Exactly. If that was the case, Chicago would be in the news nonstop.
Yeah, and I mean, well, Chicago is one of those Democrat states, though, where the violence is just obscene because of the fact that, I mean, they have such strict gun laws there.
Right. Well, I mean, you got to think they try to keep that shit covered up, too, because of the strict gun laws. They want to make it look like the gun laws are working.
So, you know, all you got to do is talk to somebody from Chicago and you'll find out real quick none of that shit's working.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, I have friends that are from Chicago and shit, and like, you know, ain't none of that shit helping them out.
Not in these sliders. They say it does.
Because, I mean, reality is, Criminals that want guns are gonna get guns regardless. You know?
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, you know, if we ban guns, nobody will get shot. That's how we stopped everybody from doing crack and coke and meth and heroin.
For real.
But you know, like I said, it's just convenient how all these mass shootings started when Jeffrey Epstein started talking to the investigators at the prison about Bill and Hillary Clinton.
Oh yeah, anytime they get brought up in some shit, you already know, like, there's gonna be some people that end up mysteriously dying. There's gonna be shootings that mysteriously happen every fucking other day somewhere.
Pretty much.
And it always happens whenever the Clintons are being brought up on some of the bullshit that they've got going on or that they had going on.
Every single time. You know, Jeffrey Epstein says something about Bill Clinton going to that private island where they banged kids. Bam, here's another mass shooting. Let's not focus on the Clintons. Let's focus on this guy that killed some people at Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I guess death was on sale.
Well, it's just like, what was it when Pizzagate was going on? Didn't like a bunch of like random bullshit start popping off then too? Like just
they was doing
obscene shit that like made everyone take their focus off the fact that like there's hard politicians that are out there diddling kids and shit.
Yeah, there was tons of shit going on during the Pizzagate scandal. There was mass shootings. There was people, like high-profile people committing suicide. Politicians quitting their jobs and leaving the country. I mean, you name it, it pretty much
charge, Bruce.
Pretty much whatever you can think of, it pretty much happened.
Mm-hmm. And like, I think towards that time we start seeing a lot of shit from Black Lives Matter. So, I mean, I don't know. I'd say watch for that shit to pop back up out of nowhere again.
I don't know. There hadn't really been much going on with that. I think, which we all know that bullshit was funded by George Soros.
And he's one of the main proponents for gun control, so watch some shit pop off.
Yeah. That is a good point.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, if this is the route they're going down, this is what they want to do, then we have to be prepared and be paying attention to the fact that, like, those groups that were out attacking our rights before are going to be right back out. And now they're probably going to take it into overtime.
Yeah, most likely. If they're not already. You know, we don't exactly have a way to look into what's going on behind the scenes. Even with all the contacts and stuff that we have going on in our favor, you know, we still can't see everything.
Right, at this point, though, we can definitely say that that this fucking Trump's doing the same shit George Bush and everybody else was doing.
Yeah.
That, you know, he promised he was going to be against. You know, that shit's right back out open in the front. Like, you know, he's doing those same things.
Speaking of Trump continuing with something the former presidents have done, you remember back in the day, one of the presidents, I can't remember which one it was, said that violence like this was because of violent video games.
Yeah.
Trump mirrored that speech word for word this morning.
Yeah, Nicole was showing me some meme that people came up with about that. And like, the funny part about that is like the meme said something about like Japan doesn't have video games, so they have no violent crimes. And I was like, motherfucker, do you know anything about the Japanese?
Yeah, that's literally what Trump said. Japan doesn't have these violent crimes because they don't have video games.
But they do have video games.
Exactly.
They create our video games.
Trump's letting it slip little by little that he's just another pawn.
Well, did we ever expect anything different? I didn't.
I really didn't either. Like, don't get me wrong, I was a Trump supporter, but I need to keep my eye open, and Trump's turning to be just like everybody else. He's already jumped on the gun control wagon. He jumped on the gun control bandwagon when he banned bump stocks,
Mm-hmm.
which a bump stock really does absolutely nothing.
Takes away recoil. That's about it.
Yeah, but see, they're saying that the bump stock pushes the gun back or pushes the gun forward and turns it into a fully automatic weapon because it pushes the trigger into your finger and makes it fire faster.
Well, yeah, but that's not how that works.
No, it's not. I know that. You know that. Pretty much anybody that knows what a gun is knows that. But, government is going to use any excuse they can to get shit banned.
Mm-hmm.
Once they get everything banned, or once they get the firearms banned, then I can't really say much about the First Amendment because that's almost gone.
I was gonna say you don't even have to mention that. That doesn't exist anymore.
No, I mean you can't get on Facebook and call people out because they'll just. Well, you can call people out, but you can't call the politicians and stuff out.
Fuck no. I mean, you can. I'll be sure to come to your unmarked funeral.
Exactly.
You'll be all of a sudden mysteriously Clinton, you know what I
mean? Your car just so happens to spring a brake line leak.
Damn. You just so happen to accidentally shoot yourself 100 times with a nail gun.
Yeah. I remember that shit. Dude supposedly committed suicide with a nail gun, shot himself over 100 times in the head.
I mean, that was some dedication.
And also, that reporter that was set to go up and testify against one of the Clintons, remember, got shot twice in the back of the head, and they ruled it a robbery gone wrong. But he had over $5,000 in his wallet, unmessed with, and had like so much, like thousands and thousands of dollars worth in jewelry wearing it, and none of it was messed with. But it was a robbery. If it was really a robbery, wouldn't they have took the money and the jewelry after the dude was dead?
Probably.
I mean, you would think either that or they're the most amateur robber in the history of time.
Well, no one said they were smart.
Well, no. I mean, if they were smart, they wouldn't be out here robbing people. But, I mean...
According to every mainstream rapper, that's how you get big.
Yeah.
Gotta go rob a nigga first.
But the problem with that is, if you're gonna rob somebody, you actually gotta take something from them other than their life.
Well, I mean, granted, you're not wrong there. But not every time. Sometimes you don't have time to kill the nigga. Sometimes, or rob him. Sometimes you just gotta shoot and then go because there was somebody staring at you and you totally forgot to check to see if he was staring at you. So you gotta kill him and then just run away real quick and be like, I didn't mean to do it. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I plead the fifth on that one while I still have the chance. But no, and then there was that other dude that committed suicide by shooting himself in the back of the head twice.
Yeah, that's always entertaining.
You remember that one, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Clintons have a long body count.
It's a long list of people that magically kill themselves in very strange and unique ways that are very hard to accomplish.
Oh, and what about
It's got its heart.
what about Epstein getting saved from suicide in his prison cell?
It's got a charge.
What do you think about that?
Do what now?
What do you think about Jeffrey Epstein getting saved from suicide in his jail cell?
He got saved from suicide?
Yeah, he didn't die. He apparently attempted to commit suicide in his jail cell by hanging himself, but the guards found him and cut him down.
I mean, coward's way out.
I don't know. What are the odds that the Clintons would have had something in that?
Well, if he'd actually killed himself, I'd say yes, but they're not known for their people that they want dead to not actually die.
Well, the guards might not have been in on it. The guards that found him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if the Clintons were to have something behind that, like, to be honest, dude, I'm almost positive they would have made sure, everybody there was in on that shit. You know what I mean?
Well, not everybody, because I'm sure there's not that many people that they would trust to keep that silent.
Yeah, but there's plenty of people, mainly in the prison systems, especially guards, that a certain amount of money would keep them from talking, to be damn sure.
Yeah, but I
think that's probably what we're looking at.
In a federal prison like that, you'd have. You know what? Never mind. I just realized he's in a federal prison. Yeah, just forget I said anything. He's in a federal prison.
Yeah, alright.
But that also raises the question of why is he still alive? Why have they not killed him yet?
Because he's probably in segregation, separated from the rest of the prison population.
And they can't make it too obvious.
Basically, VIP treatment,
Well, what I'm saying is, why haven't the Clintons killed him yet? Because he straight up ratted on Bill Clinton. He even
because they know that, they can't do anything unless they come up with proof. Right now, it's just him talking.
No,
so it would be a fool's errand, though, to try and kill him right now. Like, it would be a fool's errand. It would be a straight fool's errand to kill him right this minute. You know what I mean? Everybody's watching him. So.
But, well, no. The thing is Epstein gave the federal authorities permission to get the personal files out of the airport, all the flight files. And there's 14 documented visits to that private island with Bill Clinton.
Well, yeah, I get that, but you still have to have the proof that he did anything while he was there, which we do not have. Nobody has that proof.
There should still be some kind of charges where he knew it was going on.
Yeah, but that ain't gonna happen.
No, of course not. But anyway, I think that's a good place to go ahead and call it for the night. I got to get a shower and get up for work tomorrow.
I definitely say that we're gonna have to keep an eye on everything, but right now, like I said, ain't too many people actually gonna be looking into anything that's going on anywhere but these shootings for a minute. And more than likely, what we're thinking is right when we come down to it's all about gun control. I'm pretty sure that's going to be the major topic coming up over the next couple of weeks. Is that there needs to be stricter gun laws.
I think it's gun control and keeping the focus off the Clinton family.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's going to be it for tonight. I'll let you close the show out.
All right. Well, we appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll keep looking into this stuff. But like I said, right now, it's it all seems fabricated. I mean, none of it seems like it's organic. None of the reasons are organic. You know, like it just really seems like this shit's been set up. And I mean, you know, we'll find out more as the days go on. But like, I don't know. From what I'm seeing, dude, it's all fake. You know, like it doesn't make any sense. The shootings may have actually happened, but like. I don't know the motives behind it. The shit that they're saying is the evidence just doesn't add up in my eyes, you know?
It don't. I mean, there's no doubt the shootings happen. I'm sure people are actually dead. You know, kind of.
I hate when people come out and say that automatically when we say false flag, we're saying that, you know, they're saying nobody actually died. They're saying that. And that's not at all what we're saying. What we're saying is none of this makes any logical sense, you know?
Exactly.
From a standpoint of like observing it from, okay, this guy left a manifesto, which on its own, that's weird as fuck right there. Like, that's a major flag on its own to think about. Why, if you're going to do something like that, why even take the time to write it all down? Like, most psychopaths do not document what they're doing.
No, they do it on the...
It's like you don't find very many serial killers that are going to keep a diary about every fucking murder that they make, you know?
No.
Like, some of them may, but, like, we're talking about a very rare majority here. And the fact that they're making this seem like this is just an everyday kind of thing, you know?
Exactly.
And, I mean, like I said, all we can do is watch over time and see what happens, and really we need to be digging in past the shootings and seeing what's going on in the background. Like, okay, well, what's going on over here? What government officials doing this? What's going on with Trump? You know, like, obviously something's going on somewhere that they're trying to keep everyone's attention diverted away from. So our best bet is to find out what they're diverting attention from and then focus our attention there, you know? But like I said, we'll kill it off here. We'll come back tomorrow and see, like, hopefully by then there will be a little more information that hopefully makes some sort of sense, you know?
I'm going to be digging. I expect you and the other guy to do the same. You know,
oh, definitely.
Try as much as you can.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, at this point, we don't really have much information on what's going on to begin with. We're just going to have to, you know, kind of duke it out with the internet and figure out exactly who's putting out the real information and who's just, you know, putting out a bunch of bullshit, basically false flagging us with fake information, you know, because there's a lot of conspiracies already popping up about these guys. And, like, to be honest, we can't be jumping to no conclusions on any of that because we don't even know who the fuck this guy is and why he seems to have 3 other twins. You know what I mean?
Yeah. One random dude and 2 other people that look mirror image of the guy. And then all of a sudden, that meme starts going around Facebook and other social media, and they change the guy's picture. They keep the name the same, but they change his picture. You know,
yeah, and I mean, that shit makes no sense either, you know?
Nope, not in the slightest. But
just keep your ears and eyes open and just, like I said, the best thing we can do is just keep watching what's big government going to do next? What rights are they coming for this time around? Because it seems like every time that this happens, all of a sudden we're giving up some of our personal freedoms and our personal liberties because, you know, some jackhole with a fucking gun did something. So that makes every American citizen, you know, a killer and bad, and the government's got to make sure that we can't kill anyone else.
Exactly. But anyway, that's going to be it for tonight, guys.
We'll keep it real, keep it metal, and we'll talk to y'all later.